everybody. Thanks for coming. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes of the March 14th, 2019 Manistee Township Board meeting.
Make a motion to approve minutes as presented.
Is there support?
Second that.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes of the March 14th, 2019 Manistee Township Board meeting. Place them on file. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. You've received a copy of your treasurer's report. Is there any questions? Not, we'll place those on file. There's minutes from the March 6th Planning Commission meeting in your packets. Any questions on those or any comments? Guy?
No, no comments.
Okay. Move right along. There was no appeal meeting.
No.
Anyone with anything to bring before the board at this time? Okay. Mr. Dotz, besides sharing your cold, what else would you like?
Oh, it's full of information,
Yeah.
Supervisor Berkowitz.
Yeah.
Last county board meeting, point of sale for houses, septic systems and wells to be inspected. Manistee is part of the Region 10 Health Department. We are one of two counties that have the point of sale system in place. Kalkaska currently is looking to opt out. That's what's brought up the dialogue in regard to this. We had, and it's very unusual for us as a commission to have a lot of people in the audience, very unusual. And we had a tremendous amount of realtors there. And the dialogue, by and large, well, without a question, the entire dialogue was tighten it up when it comes to this, when it comes to point of sale from family member to family member, it still should be inspected. Land contracts still should be inspected. The loosening should happen with, if you are dealing with a vacant property that has been inspected, the time lapse should go from 2 years to maybe 3 years. So if nothing's happened in that time frame, it still should pass. And it shouldn't have to pay for another inspection. The cost of that inspection is, I've heard 600, I've heard 650. I cannot honestly tell you which one it is, but it's substantial, obviously.
Why does the state have to be involved in this, and why can't the seller and the buyer have some responsibility or?
The state is not involved. This
Well,
is
then-
a county. The
Okay.
state is looking to possibly get involved. There's been legislation that is, but it has not passed through the process. But I'm pretty much sure in the future, how distant, I can't tell you, but I would certainly suspect this would be one of those things that will come down out of Lansing. It's just a matter of time.
Well, why is the other county wanting to opt out?
I cannot answer that. We have not, I can tell you from everyone in the audience that was there again, and most of them were realtors. There was a few other people that were not, but everybody there was saying, keep it going, please. Especially being in a watershed like we are. The biggest reason.
Continue it, but if it's sold last year and it's selling this year, don't do it again.
Well, correct. Yeah. It doesn't need to be inspected, guy, until it gets sold.
Right.
Then the other catch becomes there's a few months of cold weather, which becomes problematic to get it pumped and inspected. But again, it's the septic and the well. It's not
Right.
just the septic system.
And who pays for it's going to be negotiated between the buyer and the seller.
At the end of the day, you can say the seller, at the end of the day, it's always going to be the buyer. You know, follow the money. That's just how it always is going to be. So, that was the big thing. We had over an hour of public comment in regard to this, seriously, and that just was not happening. One other thing, we had Superintendent Stoneman from Manistee Area Public came before us, and he spoke a little bit at length in regard to their 20-year vision for the school district. So you're going to be seeing more on that in the future. I don't need to elaborate on that because there's going to be more to come, and it should come from them, not I. We do have the scrap tire pickup coming June 29th and September 28th. That's going to be up at the fairgrounds again, $2 a tire, domestic tires, not industrial or commercial or farm.
What were the dates again, please?
June 29th and September 28th. And June 29th is my birthday, if you wanted to put it on a calendar.
I'll do that.
We'll pick up a half a dozen of mine out there to celebrate.
Anyway,
No wheels.
no wheels, no wheels, no wheels. Central Wellness, we put Diane Lon back on, Leslie Wilson, and Nipper Wisniewski. So they got reappointed. This month we're in right now, April, is Parkinson's Awareness Month, along with County Government Month. We also signed a letter in support for the St. Mary's Project, which is the Wagner Center. We have a new 3-year contract with the Health Department over on 3rd Street, which is a building the county owns. We have our new drain commissioner here, so I don't need to talk about the kennel hole. I'll let him discuss that. Cooley Bridge tentatively is to be shut down April 15th through November 2nd.
Like Monday.
Yes, yes. Tentative. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, and that was the dates that I have been given. The other thing I will tell you in regard to that is when Senator Vanderwall was Representative Vanderwall, he was able to acquire a significant amount of money to get Snyder Road repaired, resurfaced. So that will become the bypass sometime in June, which Norman Township was really pushing for, and I tried to assist them the best I could. We were successful. It was one of those moments you kind of go, wow, something really happened. As you've been reading in the papers or radio or anything, I've been dealing with the Rivers ban on alcohol. We had a meeting on Tuesday in regard to that. We're going to be putting PSAs together, so I've contacted Representative O'Malley since of his media experience with 9 and 10 News and WTCM, obviously. Got him hooked up with the CVBs and the chambers and Forest Service to make sure we're all on the same page and get the correct PSA out. The one thing I will tell you, and let me get this out so I don't misspeak, I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. The Forest Supervisor, Ms. Leslie Aremo, said that this year the Forest Service is going to have a public intoxication order in place. So what that means is if one of their federal agents, Patrick Reese, who is one of their law enforcement officers, they only have a couple for the entire Manistee Huron, is if you are drunk and disorderly, I don't even know if you have to be drunk, to be perfectly honest, because that's a technical term. But if you're disorderly and been drinking, you could get fined. I'm not saying, I don't know how often is it going to happen? Who knows if it'll happen at all? But that, again, becomes a federal issue, not a local issue. So, to be continued, obviously. I can't, as an elected official, stand up and say that's a bad thing because, I don't care what segment of society, whatever you do, people do bad things. I don't care where it is, what it is.
Why are you looking at me?
I like you. So anyway, that's one thing. The other thing of it is we're looking at better communication amongst all levels of law enforcement, whether it's the DNR, the state police, the sheriff's department, or the feds, to be continued in regard to that. Public defender, we do have Jared Henry in place for that. He has been hiring people. He hopes to have that going in May. You've heard me talk about that for many months. It's a royal pain in the butt, but it's one of those things that we've got to charge on, whether we want to or not, and we are charging on. I mentioned prior to the meeting Tonight, I was supposed to be up in Arcadia, but Arcadia's agenda was full, and they want us being Rob Carson and myself, and probably Kim Ware, who's the planning commission chair, we were gonna go up and meet with Arcadia because they want to get in on county administered zoning, not county zoning, county administered zoning. Rob has also been contacted by East Lake Village to also perform the same thing. And that, for the most part, covers this past month.
Any questions for the commissioner? Nice to see your smiling face.
Hope your cold gets better.
I've got meds now, I'm starting to work.
Guy, got anything going on in your office?
A little. There were no new written complaints. One land use permit was issued for a new home. There were 4 electrical permits applied for and 2 building permits. And one of those was for another new home. They already had their land use permit. Let me see. The amended zoning ordinance map was produced by the county planner, and I've got it, and it's been signed, so we have a new official map. That basically just changed the zoning district up where the Heathland Solar activities are going on, and development's going on.
Possible.
Yeah, it's still moving along. Consumers Power, according to them, is conducting some kind of a study to determine the rate that they're going to pay for power. And they haven't completed that study.
Are we invoicing those people for your work on that?
I don't know. Have we?
We have no money, but we have. We have more invoices to send out.
Okay. I've spoken to Richard about getting money up front for these kind of large development projects.
And you said?
He said that is a good idea. You know, we should rewrite our zoning ordinance so that we just don't start out on these things and employ him in our time. And, you know, and then send out invoices after the fact and
Hope for the best.
hope for the best. Yeah, that's what it is. Which is what we're doing
Yeah.
currently.
Okay.
And Oak Grove, that development, Washington Street's moving along slowly also. We're still waiting for some information for them to complete their site plan, so we can put together a preliminary PUD agreement. Richard. And that's about it.
Any questions for Guy? Gary, I would assume that you have an issue
I do.
pertaining to his office.
No, it's pertaining to zoning
Okay,
in my district.
that's-
I'm R1 district,
mhm.
and we have a commercial use of the property in my district. And the address of the property is 1940 Lakeview Drive. This particular property is being rented on a daily to weekly basis. And we're getting an awful lot of automobile, vehicle traffic and parking problems.
Jeez.
And they're even, we had a motorhome there too, camp there. Here's one with a pop-up camper that's on the site. But the issue I have on this, Dennis, I mean, that we've been working on this thing for, I'm trying to get this thing taken care of, but if you had an inn in this district, you couldn't have one. You'd have to be in the commercial district. if you had a bed and breakfast, you could have one in this district, but only through a special use permit. They are renting out to as many as 15 people.
I think the advertisement says that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Sleeps 15 people. And if it were a bed and breakfast, it would be owner occupied. It's not owner occupied. Also, this is a single family residential neighborhood. When you have 8, and I've heard as many as 12 cars have been there, that's not just one family. It's a
We were
family or
called,
more.
oh yeah, we were called on that last year. And I personally went over there was issues with golf carts and other things around the neighborhood.
Yes.
And,
And I know,
And I
John,
think
he's not for doing anything on this, but, gee, this is a commercial use of the property. I asked John, I said, John, what do you consider a hotel motel? We rent on a daily to a weekly basis. I think that was, I don't know if that was the conversation, John, but it said, oh, that would be a hotel motel. You agree? Oh, then you corrected yourself. You probably knew I was talking about 1940 Lakeview. But anyway, the zoning ordinance, planning and zoning, does state here, it says, in the following master plan, the planning commission is also responsible for maintaining the Manistee Township zoning ordinance by updating and enforcing it. So I know that the owners of this have been sent letters from my attorney, also from the attorney for Manistee Township. And there's been no responses.
I think you got the letter back, didn't you?
The last
The
letter we
last
sent,
one.
yeah, was returned.
Undeliverable, deliverable.
So, but mine never came back.
And my first one never did. either.
Yeah, so somebody got that letter, but there's been no response. The R1 zoning, it's a high-density residential district is designed to provide sites for single-family residences on more than one compact lot and other residential districts. Non-residential uses permitted are limited in order to avoid future conflicts between land uses on relatively small lots. Under permitted uses, it's single-family dwellings. Under special use permits, is bed and breakfast or two-family dwellings. Now, if this were a bed and breakfast, lodging, it says a structure which was constructed for and is used as a single-family residence and is occupied by the owner, but which may be used as a temporary lodging for travelers and guests. Bedrooms are rented on a nightly basis with breakfast as regulated and limited by the state, including the price of the room, subject to limitations outlined in the ordinance. This is in your zoning ordinance. So, you know, if this were a hotel motel, you have ingress and egress issues that you have to deal with. Because this is a change in the use. Would you have to have handicap accessibility? Exit signs?
There's probably a occupancy limit.
There's probably a lot of ordinances that they'd have to conform with. You have a motel over here that they're losing people because of people renting this. Now, I'm not against renting on a monthly basis, because that's typically what houses are rented for, on a monthly basis. But when you start doing it on a daily, their minimum is 2 days they have 2 to 7 days that you have to rent. So the minimum is 2 days. Well, typically a motel is 1 day. Bed and breakfast, typically 1 day, but who's regulating that? And with 15 people there, those bathrooms are getting a lot of use. Is that septic system up to par? My concern is what would happen if there's a fire there? Ingress and egress. That's a 2-story structure. And I don't know if they're sleeping in the basement even. I don't know if there's a basement level that's being used. It says it's 3 bedrooms, but sleeps 15 people. So where are they putting all the 15 people?
Well, you've addressed this before, and you've called the guy, or tried to call the guy.
We have,
Not just him, but other ones as well.
Can you send them a certified letter with return receipt?
Try that.
we can.
Because you need to get a response if they're gonna do anything or not, but my thoughts on this, see, even our deed restrictions that we have in the neighborhood is that it cannot be used for commercial purposes. There's also in your zoning ordinance that, you know, people can stay at those places, but they can't, as guests of the owners, but can't pay rent. Someplace in your zoning ordinance, I didn't find it, but I read it.
There's deed restrictions for the home run lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, but, you know, I've been paying taxes in this area for years. And I love living where I'm at. Because everybody knew everybody. I have keys for family homes around the area that I look after the homes for them. But, you know, we don't know who these people are that are coming in. It's not the neighborhood that
Well, it was.
that it was, yeah. Now, there's 2 homes that were rented that are presently up for sale. I think it's Finnegan, I believe.
That may be
He owns two
Two homes.
Two homes there. And he said that he wasn't going to rent them anymore, he was going to go ahead and include the rentals they had on it.
right. Last season,
Yes, and then he put them up for sale.
yes.
And the one is adjoining this one, that, right next
Lynch
door.
home?
Lynch's home.
Lynch's
yes.
home?
Yes, and the other one was Long's old house, which is King Corner from there. But I'd like to see the township kind of help us out a little bit over there. And I don't know what, I know that you have zoning ordinances that you can get into, and you may have some issues you may want to deal with, but when you look at someone having an inn, it has to be in a commercial district, and I think, let's see here, I think you have to have a special use permit for that too.
We've been following this, like I read the Record Eagle, and you know, they have, they're
They're having the
just
same
having a horrible
issues
time
there.
up there.
So,
Huntington is, and,
Yeah, for an inn, you need a special use permit in the commercial district. Would this be considered an inn? I mean, it's gotta fit somewhere into what you have as a zoning ordinance, I would think.
It's considered a commercial use.
Well, commercial doesn't belong in our residential district. So, I don't know who actually can take care of this and address it. I know, John, I know you could, because you're kind of heading up the zoning.
I am a member of the planning commission.
But I know people listen to me, John. So, yeah.
You do.
You're kind of like the senior member. You're kind of like the senior member, right?
Gary, then we've talked about this several times, and guys in
And
the
I've,
planning commission have
Yeah,
tried to get a handle on it.
Well,
and I've tried to work with our township attorney on what we can do to straighten this out. And we didn't have any ideas either, so,
well,
other than to create another ordinance.
yeah, well,
the part is
But
great,
this is
but
a
we have
different-
to have an enforcement, and there's nothing in the county that's gonna enforce it after you tell them that they have to go. That's where the problem lies.
Right, because
Because we
we
can tell
don't
them.
enforce
they
it, the
can-
sheriff does.
yeah.
Right, and
Yeah,
it's not happening.
And that could be red tag though.
Correct.
What do you mean by red tag?
What do you mean?
They close it down because it can be used as commercial.
Oh, I see.
If that's their, I mean, we can ask them to do that, but they make that decision at their level. It's kind of like when somebody calls about these neighbors are being too noisy,
Mhm.
well, then it's subjective, like, well, they don't think it's too noisy, we don't think it's too many people. Well, then the sheriff's department goes and tells them, and then nothing happens after that. I'm not saying that we're not gonna pursue it, it's just that it seems to me like we can have all the ordinances in the world, and we can create them, but if there's nobody gonna enforce them at the sheriff's department and at the court, it's kind of at a loss. And I don't know how to get those on board.
You know, if you don't enforce your zoning ordinance, you don't have a zoning ordinance.
Right. But we as a township can enforce it, so we have to depend on other people to enforce them. And we've sent them over, and they've had a talk with them, and nothing happens. I get your frustration, because I don't feel.
Last year, we had an instance where the sheriff had to be called. And went there, but that was 5 AM by the time we got.
They've been going over people's properties and stuff.
Yeah, they said they were doing golf carts, doing,
Yeah, they had a golf cart, they were driving over.
so I get your
people's property.
frustration totally, it's just,
Well, they were practicing their chipping on private property
That too.
last summer.
But
It's
again,
not a laughing matter, I
No.
understand, but it's before us, and
let's,
the guys,
let's send them a registered letter, you're operating a commercial property in a residential area. And you cease and desist, or start them with the court action. And that's what it comes down to. That should be really your next step.
okay,
Well, thank you for listening to me.
that's right.
Yeah, make it a hot voltage, John.
Thanks, Gary.
Hi, Barry.
I alleviated from the agenda because I knew what Gary had on his mind, and that was the right time. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Chuck, is there anything going on across the street?
Oh, there's always something going on across the street. So for March, we had a total of 26 activities, 6 fire-related, 7 medical-related, and then meetings, station trainings, and other activities, 13 for the month of March. Chief and officers had 87 hours, and the other complaint hours, all the other stuff was 104. As far as trucks, 131's replacement, we went to Spencer a couple weeks ago and looked at their trucks again in person. We're about 85% done with looking at the different, comparing them and stuff like that, and trying to make everything fit what we would like to have, trying to keep the cost down. So we're about 85% done with that. Hopefully we'll have a recommendation here in a couple months, if not sooner. DOT inspections, we finally got on a schedule for that. They were going through the trucks, and 137's brakes were crumbling. So we took that in today and dropped it off because it wouldn't pass the DOT inspection. Doesn't have high mileage, just because it didn't get used to it probably, so. And there were the original pads. So that's in, getting repaired, and then it'll be done with DOT inspection. Every other truck passed the DOT inspection. They did find the exhaust on 134 needs to be replaced. It's just corroded. That's a 2001 truck, so that's probably due for an exhaust. The station, the thermostat, thanks Danny for getting that repaired. That happened to be stuck at like 70 or 75, and we couldn't adjust it down. So Danny had that replaced, and now we can control that. So that's probably why the electric bill was high last month. The weather's was looking like it was getting nice, so we were talking about continuing painting the training facility over there. We're gonna get some scaffolding and paint the upper part when the weather gets nice. So stay tuned for that one. And as far as equipment, the revenue sharing and the tribe puts out the money for revenue sharing. We want to thank them. The association, the Countywide Fire Association, we got this new turnout gear, so Sam brought his jacket so you guys can take a look at it and see what it looks like. This is that's that jacket right there is about $1,000, and the pants that go with it are the other $1,000. So
Got $500 worth of letters on the bottom.
no, come on now. Yeah, so that was it. Finally came through. The association applied for the revenue sharing grant to get the tribal money, and finally got the new coats for all those students that went through the class. And it's really kind of a cool graduation gift. I talked to Shelby, and she said that really solidified that she finished the course. So it's got a name on the bottom like Sam, so it was kind of nice. shout out to revenue sharing and the tribe who, funds that stuff, so that's great. Personnel, we do have, Jim and Shelby's information in, so we just need those approved tonight. And then, as far as training, we went with truck checks last month. I wasn't here part of the month, but then I was, because I was working. We did joint training with the city fire, we did drafting and forward lay with the hydrants. City doesn't usually draft, so that was good training for them. We made sure our adapters and everything fit for a forward lay from a hydrant, and we pretty much had everything, so that was really good training. We both learned a little bit. And we did some company officer classes last month. Joe went to some, and Sam went to the first one. We did first aid for our ice water rescue, and then we did hovercraft training and driver's training. So it was a pretty busy month. A lot of that was in-house training, some of it was out-of-house training. The entry-level training for company officers, that's just like leasing them for volunteer and paid on call, and full-time firefighters, so they can help organize and run a fire scene, strategies and tactics. And then the second level is helps, it's like the next level of that to help organize bigger incidents. And then the third level is more decision-making and tactical decision-making on the ground, initial company operations, so. And then we had put in for the revenue sharing grant. I wasn't able to make that do work, but then he passed information on about what we put in for that, so hopefully in June 8th, we'll find out. What day?
10th.
It was that week, so. Hopefully we'll find out. And that was, I think we put 50,000 towards that, so about 10% of what a truck costs. So special events we had Brian Forbes and Ben Mott go to the Polar Plunge as a community event, just kind of help fill the pool, and whether they got their picture taken or not, but people want to jump in cold water, so they went up there and helped support that a couple weekends ago. Actually, I think Anderson jumped in it too, so he's had a really cool outfit, looked like pajamas, but he enjoyed it too, so. And then, it's burn permit season, so if the numbers are posted on our phone over there, and I've noticed where people have been calling, they'll hang up, and then, so they get the two numbers and then they call. So I think it's been helping out here so much, and then, getting the word out. And then you can also check the website, the DNR's website, and they can check that too. And then they get the numbers. The number on there is the station number, so it should be good. Other than that, that's all I got right now. Just need the two folks approved and
What's Shelby's last name?
Fraley.
F-R-A.
He's on.
Yeah.
F-R-A-L-Y.
All right, that's on your page.
Leski stole the burn permit? Yeah.
And Matt Ross.
That's a
Or Central. Either way, because all it does, they call Central.
They call Central, but it funnels off the call.
Any questions for Chuck or Sam?
We appreciate people calling the folks that handle that, because what it does is it funnels that information to one or two people, and central dispatch doesn't get flooded. I mean, we were getting, 5 calls one day, 7 calls another day, 3 calls another day. Those people calling central, they deal with all kinds of silly stuff. They don't need to be dealing with that. So it narrows it down, funnels it through, distributes it out, so everybody knows what's going on. So we don't get those false alarms. We're
You
running.
mean like that woods fire on the corner of Hill and Cop?
Yeah.
I took care of that.
You did?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so that was, that well they turned back on apparently, so.
Yeah, 2 days before.
New fire in the woods.
Okay, well, your fire personnel are later on the agenda.
Okay.
Any questions for Sam? Thank you, fellas, and again, express our appreciation, if you would, please. Liquor inspector, there's no significant changes. The only other thing I would add that the revenue sharing board does, as Chuck suggested, will meet on the 10th of June at 5 p.m. here at the hall. There are $225,134 in applicants and $120,122 available. So, one time there was.
At one.
One time, no, just one.
Just once.
Just once, there was, since, and I've been on it since the beginning. At one time, there was enough money to cover all that.
That must have been an easy, easy.
Well, that word must have got out because. All right, business we need to attend to, we need to reappoint Ed Sang to the planning commission for a 3-year term beginning May 1st, 2019. I've called Ed and he's interested in retaining that position.
I'll make a motion to appoint Ed Singh to the planning commission for a 3-year term.
I'll second.
And move supported that Ed Sang be asked to serve on the planning commission for a 3-year term beginning May 1st, 2019. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Carried. We also need to appoint Charlie Shadle to the planning commission. He's currently serving Linda Fineout's unexpired term.
I make a motion to appoint Charlie Shadle to the planning commission for a 3-year term beginning May 1st, 2019.
I'll support it.
Been moved supported that Charlie Shadle be reappointed to the planning commission for a 3-year term beginning May 1st, 2019. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? I've also talked with Mr. Elder, Barry Elder, about serving on the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term, and he suggested that he would be more than happy to do so. Entertain a motion to reappoint Barry Elder.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Barry Elder to the board of appeals for a 3-year term.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved supported that Barry Elder be asked to serve on the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term beginning May 1st, 2019. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? I'd like to publicly thank those 3 individuals for stepping up and helping out the residents of Manistee Township. They do a good job. They seem very interested in what they're doing. Motion to appoint James Henderson to the Manistee Township Fire Department as a probationary firefighter.
I make a motion to appoint James Henderson to the Manistee Township Fire Department as a probationary firefighter.
I'll support it.
Been moved supported that James Henderson be asked to serve as a probationary firefighter on the Manistee Township Fire Department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Carried. The motion to appoint Shelby Fraley to the Manistee Township Fire Department as a probationary firefighter.
I'll make a motion to appoint Shelby Fraley to the Manistee Township Fire Department as a probationary firefighter.
I'll second.
Been moved supported that Shelby Fraley be approved as a probationary firefighter on the Manistee Township Fire Department. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Carried. Item number 6 is the annual trash day. It'll be Saturday, May 11th, 2019, 8:30 to 12:30 at the fire station on Hill Road. That'll take place north of the training site. Oh, excuse me. Diane has prepared a list of acceptable and not acceptable items. It's posted out here on the wall. Is it on the website? Or will it be on the website?
I'll see if they can put it on there for us. And there's also, that's
Handouts?
information, there's handouts on the
Okay.
table back there. It'll be in the newspaper this Friday, and then 2 weeks from now, or just before the
Okay.
big day.
You said 8:30 to 12:30?
Yes.
Yes,
Um,
the line will start earlier than that.
If you see fit, if you have time, you can always use a hand at these events. There's donuts, there's pizza, Anything else? not, you received your March, your bills for the month of March.
Any questions?
Do you have any questions on this? What is, Shadle streetlights, what is, Consumers Energy, second from the bottom?
Shadle is the other building on Shadle Road, the electric for that, $30 a month.
Oh,
And the
okay,
streetlights.
okay. That's the Newland School, then.
Newland School.
Correct.
Okay. If all looks in order, I will entertain a motion to pay them.
I make the motion to pay the bills as provided and received.
I'll support that.
We move supported that the bills be paid as provided and received. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. One more thing I'd like to mention that I forgot to mention that was in my, because there's been a few questions. The M55 bridge reconstruction will be next year. And grinding and repaving of M55 from Claybank Road to Udall Hills Road, approximately 7.5 miles, will be done next year. Also next year, M22, the scenic byway, is going to be ground up, milled and filled from Dodds Road to 8 Mile. That's all construction that's going to be done next year. Well, the reason I mention that is the logistics has to be worked out for the other side of the river. You know, you guys. So we got a lot of time to do
They'll be here before you know it. Time goes by quicker.
Well, this year they're redoing the bypass, so that's in shape where the bridge is out.
that. And that bypass is,
Stronach.
Through Stronach?
Stronach,
Yeah.
Stronach Road, around the lake, so it's,
not N Street, but Stronach Road, right?
yes, yes. It's like 7 miles, I think, total that they're redoing this year. I'm pretty sure it's 7, I don't think it's 5.
A couple of years ago, the road commission was gonna do something with that culvert at Stronach.
Yeah,
Remember?
right, exactly. They had notified industry.
Yeah, that's right, I do remember.
Shut down trucking.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't decide to do that at the same time.
Never flew.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot about that. Next Manistee County MTE meeting will be held Wednesday, the 24th at Cleon Township in Coplish. Zoning Board of Appeals will meet May 7th, if there is an appeal. They will have an organization meeting though, right? Yeah.
Well, Barry Elder was going to organize that, and he didn't come up with a date
Okay.
as of today, anyway.
Township Planning Commission will meet Wednesday, May 1st, here at the hall. The next regular meeting of the Manistee Township Board will be Tuesday, May 14th at the Manistee Township Hall. Again, it's Tuesday,
Yeah.
not Thursday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else? Motion's in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Move supported that we adjourn. All in favor? Aye. None opposed? I'd like to welcome back John and your smiling face.
It's good to be here.